Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome, everyone. Regular rollers time. We're going to get rolling right after I remind everyone that my boy Jeremy Donson's auction house, CIA Auctions, is running its second ever auction right now as we speak. It ends this weekend. And yeah, we're going to do something a little bit fun with that later in the video. But for now, let's get rolling. We'll start with one sent in by Brian, who wrote, many people talk about the most beautiful card set design, but for me, the specific card that I consider the most beautiful is number 331 from 1990 Skybox Basketball, which I recently purchased myself in a PSA 10. I was in elementary school at the time this card came out and was a fanatic Chicago Bulls fan. I also like to draw, and I spent hours sketching the Chicago Bulls logo, especially with the smoke coming out of the Bulls' nostrils, which I believe was first depicted on this card. Attached is a sampling of just a few of those drawings, which I saved over all the years. The Chicago Bulls are the only current NBA team never to have changed their logo, which to me makes this card even more iconic. Plus, on the back is a checklist of their first ever championship team, part of that epic dynasty. I have many raw versions of the card, including the one I first pulled in 1990 to spark my drawing passion, but it is nice to own a verified Gem Mint 10 copy as well. Next one is sent by Dom, who wrote, I thought I'd share a recent purchase of a 1979/80 set of Edmonton Oilers postcards that came up on eBay. I've been looking for the alternative Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier rookies for this set for a while now because I had already owned the official Pwcc rookies from the 79 and 80 set respectively, but the prices were always outside of my budget. To my astonishment, a listing did pop up eventually for the entire 23-card set in X-Mint condition about a week ago, and I sheepishly put in a relatively low bid for fun at the very last second, only to find out that I had won it for 173 Canadian dollars, including shipping, which is approximately 126 American dollars. When the postcards arrived, I had a couple of reputable local dealers review them to make sure that they weren't reprints, and I was happy to find out that they were in fact authentic. Attached are the pictures of the original listing and the cards. Happy collecting and investing. Next one was sent in by Nick, who wrote, I've been in the hobby for a number of years now and I have no explanation for these sales. There is a vast supply of fake dual patch auto cards from Exquisite featuring Jordan and LeBron. I'm always on the lookout for real dual autos, and these keep popping up. They all have the same serial number, 23 of 23, and are clearly fakes and usually appropriately labeled as reprints or facsimiles. Below is one of the more insane examples I've seen, a quote-unquote graded version that sold for over $2,000, but over the years these typically go for anywhere from $20 to $500. It seems like these should be worth basically nothing, and if they're selling for this much, we should all just quit our jobs and start printing fake cards. Any explanation for how this happens? Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously with you on this. This is strange and bizarre. I mean, the seller here did put reprint in the title, but they're also putting words that don't apply. 2006 UD Exquisite. No, it's not an Exquisite card. It's not from 2006. It's not a patch. It's not an auto. The only thing in the title that would be appropriate here for me is Michael Jordan / LeBron James fake card, or Michael Jordan LeBron James reprint card, and that's it. You know, all the other words really don't apply here. I'm going to assume that, you know, a couple buyers didn't do their homework and just bid this up without researching at all. So definitely some, you know, some of this goes on the buyer, some of it goes on the seller, I think, for a slightly misleading listing, and then some of it definitely goes on GMA. I mean, GMA, come on, man, you can't grade a card like this. Now, it does say facsimile reprint on the GMA label, but what are you doing putting this in a holder? It's just a fake homemade card. You know, I think this, you know, kills GMA's credibility instantly, just being willing to grade this. So, yeah, part on the buyer, part on the seller, and part on GMA. This one's sent by Austin, where I purchased this 2021 Topps Now Ryan Mountcastle and Cal Ripken Jr. dual auto red at a 10 for $220. The retail is $400, so I definitely think I got a good deal for it in my eyes, especially since Cal's auto fee is $150. Fun story with this card, I was the one who actually made it happen. I was counting down the home runs until this happened, and once he passed the home run rookie record, I messaged one of Topps Now Platinum members, and they sent it to Topps to make the card happen. That's really, really cool story, and I find Topps Now really interesting. It doesn't get a whole lot of love in the hobby, but man, if this stuff existed when I was, a pure collector, more like when I was following baseball on a day-to-day basis and checking the box score every morning, I would have absolutely loved this stuff. These cards come out to produce, to highlight a specific moment. In this case, when Ryan Mountcastle hit his 29th home run as a rookie, which broke the Orioles rookie record, passing my boy Cal Ripken, they put out this card highlighting that moment. Both players, there, and both players have autographed the card. It's just really, really cool, especially if you're, like I said, sort of following sports day to day like I used to a lot more. But yeah, really, really cool card. Next one was sent in by Peter, who wrote, this lot was a lottery ticket to see if the 48-leaf Satchel Page was real. I was pretty sure it was a fake from the photos. It's too perfectly centered. The background is orange instead of yellow. The back is too brown instead of gray. and the seller hedged its authenticity in the description, but it's a grail card for me that I'll never be able to afford, so I figured $215 was worth a shot, considering I could sell the other cards in the lot and make up a portion of the purchase price. I was pretty certain none of the others were fake, mostly because it's not worth the time or money to fake those cards. I received the lot today, and of course the page is indeed fake. Almost all pre-1958 cards won't let light pass through from behind, and light shone right through the card. I have one authentic 1948 Leaf card in the great George Vico, and the print patterns are entirely different when magnified the card's 15x using my iPhone. So my search for the grail continues, but now I can add this to a nice looking fake 1948 Leaf to my shelf right next to my 89 Bowman sweepstakes reprint of the 49 Bowman and the 1991 Topps Archives reprint of the 1953 page. I've completed my fake Satchel Page run. Thanks for sharing that. And a couple interesting things about this listing. The first, I think you already know, but perhaps for viewers who don't, the 48 Leaf Satchel Page is a really, really rare and extremely expensive card. But you're almost never going to see one in the wild ungraded. If you did, the only real chance it would be is if it was in a collection of other 48 Leafs. But just seeing it by itself as sort of the only 48 Leaf in a collection, that essentially, I mean, I don't want to say will never happen because there could be some bizarre instance, but that's sort of one thing to look out for. Second, it's a heavily faked card. I can tell right here from the photos that it's definitely a fake, and probably most raw copies anyone would encounter at this point are going to be fakes. There's just a lot more fakes out there than raw real examples at this point. Next one was sent in by Thomas, and this probably belongs more in like a Q&A video, but yeah, it fits here, the regular rollers as well. He wrote, just picked up this card for $11 or $18 all in. Nothing too exciting other than getting it below the average sale price of $25 on VCP, but it made me think about your recent video on the state of ultramodern grading and how many 10s are out there for dirt cheap. Now with ultramodern, I feel like a lot of those cards just shouldn't have been graded in the first place, but go back to the 80s and 90s and it's slightly different. This Bonds is a card that quote-unquote should be graded, as it's the rookie card of an all-time great and a home run king. And he's not the only one. Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, Jeff Bagwell, Roberto Alomar, guys who are arguably the best of their generation, have their rookie cards in 9 grades selling for less than the grading fees. Obviously, there are cards that are exceptions from this era, such as the SP Jeter or the Upper Deck Griffey, but isn't this a problem facing the graded card world? Other than a few dozen modern cards, does it make sense to grade and collect slab cards post-1970s? So yeah, your point's well taken, although I think you can also look at it sort of differently. If you're asking me, should I buy a bunch of ultramodern base rookie cards in PSA 9s and 10s and hold on to them long term looking to get rich down the road? Absolutely not. That's not going to pan out. But if you look at it from a pure collector's perspective, it actually is really kind of nice. Like, you can get a lot of great cards, modern players, active young players, or rookie cards in high grade PSA 9s, 10, SGC 9, 10, Beckett 9, 10 for not a lot of money. I mean, there's Juan Soto rookies PSA 10s you can get for $40, and Luka Doncic SGC 9s you can get for, rookie year cards for $35 or something, and Joe Burrow rookie year cards PSA 10s for $60. There's all sorts of opportunities. You can get some really cool cards, and as a collector standpoint, you don't need a lot of money to do it. So I think that, yeah, there's definitely a negative in the sense that there's an overflooding. A lot of these cards aren't going to hold their value in the long term. But from a collector standpoint, I think your money can go kind of far. You can get some really nice stuff if you really value graded cards and rookie cards and young stars, and there's a lot of collectors out there that do. Next one is sent by Graham, who wrote, having 2 different sports on the same card is unique, but I'm just not sure how I feel about this. This was from a football product. Imagine ripping into a football product and getting a hockey card out of it. You can't go wrong with the star power for the price. However, I'm not sure there's much crossover between Gordie Howe and Barry Sanders fans, unless you're a Detroit sports fan, of course. I can appreciate them both individually for being all-time greats, but it just doesn't look right on the same card. Maybe I'm too much of a sports card purist and way off on this one. Curious to hear what you and your viewers have to say. Yeah, I mean, I think your points are certainly valid. I kind of like it. I think it's sort of interesting and unique. I like the fact that the players are connected somehow, and the fact that they're both Detroit greats, hometown heroes. That's the sort of the point of this set. But I think the hobby as a whole tends to agree with you. This certainly did not catch on. I don't think this concept is very popular in general, where you put 2 different players from 2 different sports on the same card. So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of personal opinion, and I do agree with you here. $25 for this card seems like a good deal for jersey cards of all-time greats. Next one was sent by David, and I'm going to do a CIA promotion in just a second here, but David actually helped me out. He sent in a regular rollers about CIA, so sort of a free promotion from David here. He wrote, super excited for this one, as A, there were some great cards to offer. I actually bid on about 8 to 10 different cards, and B, I just wanted to be a part of and support the Texas Snowman's new auction endeavor. I had hopes of picking up the Koufax rookie or perhaps the Oscar Robertson rookie, but they eluded me this time. But I did win these two. I have no idea on comps on these. All I know is that I was more than happy with the end price on both. Exactly the kind of cards I love as a collector. Great eye appeal cards of all-time greats at a regular roller level price. Can't wait to have these in hand. Congrats on the first official auction, Snowman. Thank you, David. Really appreciate the support and kind words. And yeah, if you're talking about all-time greats, can't do much better than Ted Williams and Hank Aaron. All right, now I'm going to let Jeremy do just a quick preview of a few of the cards in his auction. Full disclosure, I am a small stakeholder in CIA.
Hello everyone, Texas Snowman here. Just wanted to go over some of the items in our July 4th auction with you guys. So first up, we have a beautiful 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie PSA 2. Really nice centering on this card, off just slightly left to right, but really good card for the grade. We also have a near complete Clemente run, second year up, including a couple of rare ones. We got a Cons Wieners, and then we also have a 1960 tag-on that I've actually never owned in my career. And then as far as our modern that we have, we've got a Trae Young RPA graded a 9. We have a tough Knights Templar Mahomes in a PSA 10. We also are doing a non-sports and comic auction this time. Funny because when I had started the auction house, I actually was not really planning on doing a lot of non-sports outside of maybe like some Star Wars cards. But things change as you grow, and already I decided to go ahead and do some non-sports too. So just an array of some vintage Disney and other cards, but there's several 1930s Disney cards. So really curious what everybody thinks about that, or if that's something y'all collect or even seen before.
Next one sent by Philip wrote, I tend to get frustrated with how much prospect Bowman cards go for, especially when you see a rookie or a prospect auto go for multiple times what a Hall of Famers cards go for. I've noticed that Ichiro, who has no prospect cards but does have Japanese League cards, the prices that does not happen for the prices on those cards. I won a PWCC auction for a 1998 BBM Ichiro for less than $25 all in. He was coming off his second MVP and third batting title, so he is in the set 5 times, but that seems ridiculously cheap for this card. Previously, I'd won a checklist card from Japan featuring him for less than $15 all in. I paid more for my 2001 Topps rookie card of Ichiro than for both of these cards together. Yeah, nice. These are both pre-rookies. 1998. I mean, his rookie card in the majors is from 2001. These are both 1998. So these are both 3 years before his major league rookie card. And yeah, I agree. I mean, you're getting here some pretty interesting cards here, basically on the cheap. And we'll finish on a vintage bargain. This was sent in by Mark, who wrote, here is a regular roller I'm really pumped about. I'm a Dodger collector and love rare older cards. I just won this 1930 Bagger Chocolate Dazzy Vance for just about $50 all in with taxes and shipping. From my limited research, this is a super rare Cuban candy issue. Looks like there are none graded by SGC and just 4 graded by PSA. There is only 1 copy graded higher than this PSA 2. Not only that, but these tiny cards are the smallest issues as well. This is a super rare Hall of Fame player, almost 95 years old for just $50. I'll take that all day long. Super excited for this to arrive and to add it to my collection. That's really, really cool. 1930, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Bagger Chocolate. I have never heard of these or seen these before, but obviously incredibly rare. And yeah, I mean, everything you said with, I agree. Almost a 100-year-old card of a Hall of Famer, $50 all in, in very, very presentable PSA 2 grade. I would call that a vintage bargain. But that's it for this week's regular rollers. Hope everyone enjoyed. And remember, whether you are high or regular, keep on rolling. Thanks, everyone.